Welcome in this special Texas Elite Camp quarterback report. Steve Sarkisian, AJ Milwee hosted some of the top quarterbacks in the country in the 2026 class and 2027 class today. My name is Gerry Hamilton, joined by CJ Vogel, who's been live on the scene there today in Austin on the 40 acres. CJ, I guess first let's talk about this. Let's kind of preview, because we're going to talk a little bit tomorrow about a lot of the guys that you saw today. Overall talent turnout was pretty strong from what I was told. I'm not there today. I heard it was really strong, especially on the offensive line at quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you have a five-star John Turntine out there participating in drills, that was a thing that we talked about, and you'll hear about a little bit tomorrow too. That kind of goes and sets the tone of the camp, and it certainly helps when there's a big quarterback battle or what you want to call it. Those guys leading the charge today, you could certainly sense that each guy was able to bring their own juice, their own moxie, and that kind of leaked into the other position groups as well. Led to almost a dozen offers being extended from the Texas staff. So gives you an idea of how much talent was on campus and how much this staff was active in getting these guys and making them feel welcome to visit, and of course extending an offer afterward.
All right, so we're gonna try this whole segue thing. One position where there weren't any new offers was 2026 at quarterback. Dia Bell, American Heritage, Plantation, Florida, on hand with Rajah Bell. You know the name if you're an NBA fan. His mom, who was a star soccer player at FIU and a sibling, was on campus today for Dia Bell's visit to Texas. His third visit to Texas total, second since March when Texas offered him. And then Troy Huhn, out of Mission Hills, San Marcos, California, Mission Hills High, was on campus with his mom today. He was on campus in April with his father. His sister is transferring to play college basketball at UT Rio Grande Valley, so from Miami of Ohio. His mom was a basketball star at FIU, so all roads lead to FIU for Texas at quarterbacks in 2026, it seems. Now, here's the news. As of 5:37 p.m., when we're recording this, there has not been a quarterback commitment to Texas. Could that change? It could change at any time. But CJ, Dia Bell, Troy Huhn, both guys, the only two guys with offers by Texas right now that aren't committed elsewhere. One quarterback committed to Georgia from Nashville at an offer. So these guys came out today, and I think a lot of people said, oh, well, Texas knows who they're going to take. They know who they're going to get. I think today the competition was part of it. With what we've heard behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great opportunity for Sarkisian and Milwee and that staff to get an idea of what these guys perform like under pressure, right? You're essentially fighting for a job at Texas, a spot in the 26 class, and to be coached by Sarkisian, play at Texas. The list goes on, right? That's what today's audition was like for these guys. And it was really interesting. Of course, Dia Bell gets here very early in the morning. We did not see him arrive, but he did post that he arrived a little bit earlier than the scheduled 11:45 registration time. We saw Troy Huhn come in right around 10:45, 11 o'clock. So a little bit interesting. Both guys obviously stayed beyond the camp, beyond and after the pool party as well. In fact, as we're recording it right now, as you mentioned, 5:37, still on campus right now. So that's worth mentioning as well, how long they're on campus. And again, it to me feels like coming out of this camp, the staff will have an idea of which direction they will go. Now, it's all about when and how that's being addressed to the quarterbacks, and which might lead to a decision from either one of them at some point this week, this month, in the immediate future.
Yeah, we heard that both guys had strong points today throughout the camp. Maybe Dia Bell may have been a little more comfortable early on in the camp, is from what we heard. Now, they put him through a pretty decent footwork workout, drills workout before they ever started throwing on the field. So these guys were lathered up like you, CJ, on a hot day in Austin, right?
It's hot. The summer's here, Gerry.
Yeah, look, here's where we're a little different, because there's been a lot of talk on Texas football. Here's where we're a little different on these 26 quarterbacks with Dia Bell. When I was down there in mid-May, I walked away from that thinking Texas was the favorite for Dia Bell. We already knew Texas was the favorite for Troy Huhn. And the reason I thought Texas was the favorite for Dia Bell was he only had Texas visit scheduled June 1st. He's since scheduled LSU. I think that's next weekend or the weekend after, 14th, 15th. He doesn't have a visit scheduled to Penn State as of when I talked to Dia Bell earlier this week. both these guys probably going to make a decision in June. And so the Dia Bell, what you mentioned, he got here a little early. Him and his family met with Sark before the camp, actually. And then obviously they spent some more time with them at the pool party. Troy Huhn was meeting with Sark after the pool party before the end of the day. So does that mean are Texas fans going to run with that Dia Bell's the top guy? We'll find out. A lot of this could be timing too. Who wants to take the process where, and how long does that process play out? I was told by a source, CJ, about 20 minutes ago that there's some confidence remains with Dia Bell on the Texas side. So we'll say that right now as far as the 26 quarterbacks. Those are the two guys with offers, though, CJ. Nobody else offered in 26. So now let's move on to 27.
Well, real quick,
yeah.
Jaden O'Neal was at camp today. He did perform. He's out of the California area as well. Worth noting, he walked in with an Oklahoma backpack. Also worth noting, he will be camping at Oklahoma next week. Also worth noting that he said Oklahoma was his number one school at the moment. So gives you an idea of where he sits and where that recruitment is heading at the moment. And Texas, Sarkisian Milby got a look at him firsthand. Opted, again, to go with Troy Huhn or Dia Bell. Gives you an idea of where the quarterback difference is at the moment between Texas and Oklahoma in 2026 recruiting.
Yeah, and we'll mention that again. As of 5:40 today, no offer to Jaden O'Neal as of 5:40 today. Could change at any time, but we do continue to hear that Dia Bell and Troy Huhn are at the top of the quarterback board in 26, maybe in that order. We'll see soon enough, though, if that stands or if today changed anything. 27 quarterbacks, CJ. Great note on Jaden O'Neal. He's out of Narbonne High. He played at Newport Beach, one of the high schools down there. Poor lad. But now he's at Narbonne, who's had some tremendous quarterbacks over the years. And like you said, Oklahoma's his number one. Texas has not offered him, but A.J. Milwee went and watched them in May. All right, 2 offers in 27 at quarterback today, CJ. Both very, very noteworthy because of, I think, where they're both located, the schools they go to, and kind of we heard one of them stole the show today.
Yeah, that was a name that I heard rather often. Of course, Jordan Clay, the wide receiver out of San Antonio Madison, mentioned him right away, and that's Brady Edmonds, kid out of California, trains with Danny Hernandez, who also trains Troy Huhn, also trained Malik Murphy. You see where Sarkisian likes to go for his quarterbacks. There's a trend there. But, of course, he was the name that I heard most often when talking to recruits and parents leaving the camp today. It sounded like he really stole the show, like you said, Gerry. Big body, 6'4", 6'4.5". And by all accounts, it sounds like that arm is synonymous with a rocket, a cannon, if you will. He was really, really impressive this afternoon. Earned the offer on the spot. He's got a busy schedule coming up. Tennessee tomorrow, and then he goes on a Big Ten tour of Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, a couple others, and then back down to Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia. So a lot going on in his recruitment. Texas threw their hat into the ring officially, and for good reason, because it sounded today like he was really, really impressive in front of the Texas staff.
So Brady Edmonds, 6'5", about 205, 210 pounds in that area code. These were his Power 5 or Power 4 offers before Texas offered today. I'll just go in alpha order. Arizona State, Arkansas, Bobby Petrino knows a thing about it. Auburn, Hugh Freeze offered. Boston College, Bill O'Brien offered. Not a P4, but Jim Moore offered at UConn, does a pretty good job with quarterbacks. FSU, Mike Norvell offered. Louisville, Jeff Brom offered. Oregon offered. SMU, Rhett Lashley offered. Virginia Tech offered. Washington offered. Washington State. Like you said, Tennessee will be the next one to offer. It's coming from Ole Miss, Alabama. Some more of these SEC offers are going to come the rest of June. And CJ did get a chance to speak with Edmonds. So we're going to have that interview coming up here in a couple of minutes talking about that Texas offer. The other quarterback offered, CJ, Peyton Houston out of Shreveport Evangel. Up on I-20, Evangel had put out a ton of quarterbacks in the 90s. You can go down the list of them if you want to look back. Brock Berlin, Josh Booty. I mean, you name it. They had a ton of guys. Peyton Houston, more of the undersized athletic playmakers, a la KJ Lacey, maybe with a stronger arm. Peyton Houston, I know one of we caught up with him on Texas football after the camp as well.
Yeah, no, he's a guy that's going to carry a lot of weight in terms of kind of gravity in the recruiting world when it comes to his class already. It feels like when you talk to recruits in the 27 class, they kind of flock over to Peyton Houston as well. So from that perspective, he might have an odd on Brady Edmonds, but it certainly helps that, hey, they can both sling the football pretty well. Peyton Houston today, Gerry, and this is he's been to Texas a few times now. I believe he was down here for the Elite 11 at Austin Westlake earlier this year. He stuck around for an early spring practice this March and April as well. So he's been to campus. Now it's all about that familiarity with the staff. They were able to see him throw again in person today. And an offer was extended today. Really interesting. It feels like, Gerry, a little bit clearer of a picture with that 27 quarterback spot with those two offers being extended. You don't have to wait all the way up until about a few months ago like we saw in 2026. But those are two really, really talented quarterbacks. Of course, Weston Nielsen out of Bastrop was up here as well. So staff will continue to evaluate him. He's been to Texas 4 or 5 times since January 20th. But right now, I really liked what I heard of Brady Edmonds and, of course, Peyton Houston with the way that he's continued to develop with that sneaky, quick arm. I think he's got a real chance to be a big-time addition to a Power 5, Power 4 program.
He's got a couple things going for him. Nobody named Peyton's ever been a good quarterback, so he's got that going for him.
No one's good ever been named Brady either. Am I right?
Right. There you go. I mean, look, hey, today was a big day for names offers, but here's offers for Peyton Houston before today. Power 4. Colorado, Deion Sanders, Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, TCU, Kendall Briles, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, and obviously now Texas. So his recruitment's getting going. That means we'll see if LSU extends an offer later this summer in June to Peyton Houston as well as others. But two quarterback offers in 27 today. Both of those guys, national big-time guys as you'd expect. So there's 2 offers in 26, then 2 offers went out in 27 at the quarterback position. CJ, I'm going to let you close this out. Just some thoughts on this is a On Texas Football special, the quarterback report from Texas Elite Camp here June 1st. I'm going to let you close it out. You've been there all day on the quarterbacks. Our 26s, which we don't have an answer on. Nobody's committed yet. We think Dia Bell had a great visit with his father and mother. Rajah Bell, his mother was a soccer star at FIU. Troy Huhn was on campus with his mom out of California. His mom also was a basketball star at FIU. But and then I'll let you kind of close this out on the quarterbacks.
Yeah, it was a good day. I think that competition really allowed for these guys to be pushed to the limits, see what Sarkisian and Milby want from their quarterbacks, what their limits are, how they kind of handle themselves under pressure and with some really talented wide receivers. We got to see some clips earlier, Gerry, of these guys in action. It looked to me like the best of the best in the group. Of course, all 4 of them that we were talking about here, and you can add Weston Nielsen to that group as well. They were really accurate. They were on time. They were command, leading the way for the camp today. I'll leave with this. The 2026 quarterback room, whether it be Troy Huhn, whether it be Dia Bell, what we heard today from whether it be offensive linemen, running backs, or wide receivers, they can get the ball where it needs to go. And I say that because that's the job of a quarterback, right? To facilitate, to put the ball in an area for your player to go make a play on the football. We did not hear too often about bad passes from quarterbacks. We did not hear about the ball hitting the ground too often today. That's a good sign for me because, of course, you sometimes hear that when you go to these big camps and there's a lot of big prospects. Wide receivers, more times than not, will come away saying, man, I would have won all my one-on-one routes if the quarterback could have got me the ball. That's not what we heard today. In fact, I think some of the remarks that we heard from some, really talented wide receivers, and many of which were offered today by Texas as well, were praiseworthy of the quarterbacks and extended some, gratitude essentially for helping them get to where they want to be with the Texas offer too. So really encouraging on that front, and certainly it'll be a fun decision which way the Texas staff goes because, again, 2 really talented quarterbacks, one West Coast, one down in Florida. So national recruiting is fun again here at Texas.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that's CJ Vogel. I'm Gerry Hamilton. This has been a special edition of On Texas Football, the quarterback report from Texas Elite Camp, June 1st. Again, the recap real quick. Dia Bell, and this is a 5:48 now Central Time. Dia Bell nor Troy Huhn has committed to Texas. Both had very good visits. We believe Dia Bell maybe a little ahead, but you never know. These things can change. Steve Sarkisian makes the ultimate decision on that. Him and AJ Milwee talk about these things. But Rajah Bell, family, Dia Bell, they met with Steve Sarkisian before the camp. Troy Huhn was meeting with Sark after the day's events concluded today. And in the 27 quarterbacks, 2 offers today: Brady Edmonds, Huntington Beach. We're going to stop short of calling him the Huntington Beach bad boy. That's more reverse. That's Dana White and UFC, right? And then Peyton Houston has Shreveport Evangel. Evangel's put out a ton of good quarterbacks over the years. So quarterback SoCal, quarterback on I-20 in Louisiana, where James Simon just committed, and Aiden Anding is a top corner prospect in 25. All right, that'll do it for the quarterback report today. For CJ Vogel, I'm Gerry Hamilton. Thank you very much for tuning in to On Texas Football, and we'll have a lot more on the camp.
Oh, yeah.
The offers, some thoughts on some of these offers in 26, the class that were made today. It was a great group of offensive line and a real sleeper national guy emerged at wide receiver today as well. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow morning. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Welcome.